All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. We're back here on a Wednesday. With me, as usual, is my boy Colts Loyalist. And, boy, there's a lot of stuff out there going on. A lot of people talking. And it's not just, fans. And the problem is, and this is where I'm seeing a lot of problem, is national media, are just going off of specific things and giving opinions. Now, some national media are kind of in where I'm sitting at. I think where Loyalist is sitting at. Other national media just want to drop negatives, about one person. Now, we're going to be talking about. Wow, what is all that? I hear stuff in the background. There it is. Yeah, a hiss. All right. Anyhow. Yeah, there's a hiss there, and I don't know what it is. Hold on. Let me see if it's you or me. Hold on. I'm going to mute you. It is coming from you.
And it just started?
Yeah. That's weird. It's good now. All right, guys. Okay. Shout out to Enjoy Sack Lunch, Solemn Man, and Alpha Wolf, Robin Williams, and Malicious. What's going on? Appreciate each and every one of you being in here. Please don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. Fuzzy Whistler, what is up? Now, here's the question. Sarah Small, again, someone else in here. Appreciate it. The thing is,
keep them coming.
That's right. Come on. Seth Harmeyer's in here shouting out. Guys, appreciate each and every one of you. But here's the deal, okay? There's a lot to go over because we need to know what's going to go on this offseason, right? We need to, as fans, as Colts fans, we deserve to know. Is Carson Wentz going to be our starting quarterback week 1? Is, Chris Ballard going to try to go all in to go grab a different quarterback? Does he think there's someone in the draft that might be, worthy of snatching up? I don't know. I don't know about honestly. Now, I haven't dove into the film on the draft yet, but from what I'm gathering, there's no quarterback out there that is worthy. So you got to kind of look at free agency if you're looking. And to be fair, with how the Colts right now, and I'm going to be straight up, and you can agree or disagree. I want your take on this. The only way the Colts move on from Carson Wentz is if it's an upgrade. We don't want a lateral movement or a backwards movement. Am I wrong?
No, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Lone Revolver. Company Eagles, what's up? Here's the deal. Who would be an upwards movement, not a lateral movement for the Indianapolis Colts this coming season? Because if you think about it, letting Wentz go only frees up $13 million. Okay? And having him on the team and going out and getting a free agent that is going to be honestly fighting with him, we've seen what that kind of stuff happens, what that does to quarterbacks in general, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't want that. You want to be able to either grab someone. So if it's a lateral movement, you'll be spending $15 million on Carson no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? $15 million on Carson no matter what. If you let him go, you'll free up 13. If you keep him, he's 28 this year. $28 million.
Unless you can trade the contract or something.
Who is going to trade for Carson Wentz, though?
Yeah. Houston, Texas.
No. under no circumstance will the Houston Texans trade for Carson Wentz. I don't see us giving Carson Wentz to them, and there's no way on God's green earth that Deshaun Watson is coming to Indy.
That's
Right?
what I was saying.
So-
Carson, Deshaun, and then whatever filler pieces.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There's no way that a divisional rival is going to give you a top 3 quarterback on the field, a top 3 quarterback in the NFL to their division rival. It's not going to happen. But let's look back at Carson Wentz, his positives and his negatives, okay, that we saw this season. What are some positives that you specifically saw that you like that Carson Wentz brings to the table?
Okay, and for me, arm strength, mobility. I love the way he came into this organization, hitting the ground running. I mean, his I like that gambler mentality to some extent. I mean, it's sort of that Andrew Luck thing. If you've got that gambler in you, okay, fine. And if you make a bad play, make up for it. And that's where I don't know that Carson can make up for all the bad plays. Okay. But like I said, I love the mobility. I the contract. I like his contract. It's not that bad as far as for a starting quarterback.
Especially if you look at the entire encompassing amount of contract that's left over. After this coming year, the contract is freaking amazing.
Yes. Yeah. And no obligations, So, and quite honestly, the biggest thing for me with the Carson Wentz was I felt like this was a 2-year thing. I felt like Carson needed to get 2 years, get acclimated. Yes, I understand there's a lot to be salty about. Okay. I don't put that all on Carson, me personally. Okay. But also, I feel like Carson, given a full off season, hopefully he can avoid the bone from high school injury or whatever, and give him a full training camp. Give him the entire complement. And when you sit there and you talk about if you bring other quarterbacks in, my question is, okay, we spend all that money. What are we going to surround that other quarterback with? Everybody's screaming, oh, we need a tight end. We need a receiver. We need a left tackle. You go deeper in assets and stuff, those spots are going to become even harder to fill, with bringing in a quote. For me, you say you wanted something upgrade or, me personally, I sit there and the Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, none of those really seem like they're really reasonable, even though I jokingly say Aaron Rodgers is going to be here. That's because I like Aaron Rodgers. For me, I look at Derek Carr and I look at, Carson Wentz and I'm like, okay, where are these two guys? And where's Las Vegas with Derek Carr and stuff? That's the one quarterback that makes me go, I wouldn't mind delving into what would that scenario, how it would play out and what it would cost the team. But yeah, like I said, there's just so much that Carson offers in the way of if you give him another year to let him finish this process out, and let's see where he really stands and things.
All right, so real quick shout out to Four, who dropped $4 into the tip jar. He used that donation link right here in the top of the description. He says there are no upgrades. I don't want Jimmy G, aka
no.
We all know what his nickname is, Jimmy. And I don't want Deshaun Watson, # not a leader. Dude, Carson Wentz, I agree. How he came in, how he's loved by the team, the guys around him. He is a locker room leader, right? He is a guy who guys around him react to. We have noticed that this past all season and during the regular season. Whether or not you agree with his philosophy on the shot or not, that makes no never mind. It's how the guys in the locker room and the guys around him react. That is a positive that I like from Carson Wentz. You bring up his arm strength. He can make any throw anywhere out there on the field. Whether he hits it or not is another story. Whether he has a good decision making in the process, another story. But he does have that arm to make any throw at any time. His mobility, his ability to get away from a sack. Again, we talk about there was negatives, right, with that whole, getting away and trying to create stuff, and he ends up turning the football over or something. But how many times did we watch him completely get out of a situation where we thought for sure he was dead to rights, sacked in, and then took off for a 15-yard, run? I was just like, how the heck did he do that, right? So it is what it is. Shout out to a few other people that are in the chat again. Josh Sharf, appreciate you. Manwiches are in here. Derek Larger, what up, my guy? Appreciate you being in here as well. Ninkovsky's in here. I get it. Oh, Ninkovsky says that 4 was myself. I mistyped my own name. I appreciate you anyhow. Derek says, "What's up, boys? Can we all agree, even if Wentz was bad at times, some of the hate he's gotten has been a bit overboard? Instead of blaming the entire team." I agree with that, especially on the last game of the year. If you haven't checked out my film room, go check it out. Yes, Carson Wentz was not playing A-plus football against the Jaguars, but nobody else was either. Nobody else was either, except the kick return. Oh, real quick. Nankowski, Colts fan, drops another $10 right in here by using the donation here. He says, there we go. That's better. So that's $9 by 4. Goki Colts fan. Now, real quick, we talked about some of the positives that we've seen. What are some things that you see from Carson Wentz throughout the season that you've noticed that is something that he does on a consistent basis that you do not like, that he needs to upgrade?
And Chris Ballard put it perfectly, and I know I've said it a few times. Make the layups. Make the easy plays. Carson Wentz overlooks those a lot. Another thing that Carson does that just drives me nuts is, okay, when a play seems to run its course, and he tries to extend it and stuff,
I'm sorry. Put your thought on hold just one moment. I want to make a special announcement. Truett Trussler is in the chat. Everybody wish him well. He says, "Hi, brothers. Just got on. Still fighting." He's been dealing with COVID. He was in the hospital for a very long time. Appreciate you. I hope that you do much, much, much better, and you get over this situation as quickly as possible. So I'm sorry. I had to make that quick announcement.
Keep it coming, man. I like those type of interruptions.
Absolutely. What I mean? Okay, so go ahead with the things that you were talking about that were negatives that you need to see.
Well, the layups, the short, easy plays, the ones that Coach Reich designs these plays to fit. I feel like Carson has a tendency to overlook those and look for the more aggressive route on the play. I'm more of let's hit some of these smaller ones. Let's build up. Okay. Not every play has to be a flipping, go for the jugular type play. And secondly, as Carson Wentz, I like how he extends the plays. I enjoy his mobility and his strength and how hard it is to bring him down. But for some reason, when people start getting on him and stuff, his brain just gets clouded. And all of a sudden, he thinks his left hand is just the go-to for everything. And I hate that, man. It's like, eat the ball, take the sack, or find the check down before you get into such dire straits. Get these things sorted out. You know what I mean? Get this. I understand hero ball to an extent. I mean, heaven's mercy, Andrew Luck. You know what I mean? That's sort of his style of football. I have grown to enjoy that exciting style of football. Just do me a favor, Carson. If you're going to make these choices, do whatever you can do to make it successful. And if you muck it up, then you've got to be the one that sits there and also takes it on his shoulder to try to make it up to the team type of scenario. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But honestly, if he could just avoid it all in all, make the layups, know when to say when on a play, these are all huge things that I would love to see from Carson Wentz. I mean, yes, accuracy, Joe Mama, and we've gone into the technical part of Carson Wentz and how much of it is acceptable Carson Wentz and how much his stuff is needed. But all these things, I mean, do you guys remember how we felt about Rocky Sin going into last year? Everybody had given up on Rocky Sin. That's really where Carson is for me. I hate the fact that it's the starting quarterback that I'm saying this about. But I do feel like you give this guy a full year, you give this guy an opportunity in the system. My only question is, after listening to the presser and after listening to Chris Ballard and stuff, where does the organization stand on these guys? You know what I mean? That's a big. I wasn't as in doubt about Carson until I started hearing the lack of comments more than anything, and that made me wonder: is this something to light a fire under Carson, or is this something that's expressing, hey, this has got to change, and he's not our guy for next year? So,
all right. So here's a little something I wanted to talk about. You talk about the layups, and something else that comes out also is your checkdowns to your running backs. Right? He has thrown the ball to running backs almost as much as Phillip Rivers did last year. I think 4 less passes to running backs than Phillip Rivers had. Okay. Mm-hmm. Granted, it was an extra game, but that's still, that's still pretty on par for that. The problem is there was a lot of misses. And I can attribute that to him not having any kind of preseason, off-season work with those guys, getting that down with those specific people, okay, on those specific plays. Because I've talked about this 1.5 million times. And DeQuell Jackson on my other podcast on Believe in Colts has stated it is a fact. You don't practice working on your timing and stuff like that and routes and things like that with other players during the season. That's all preseason training camp OTAs. Getting your timing and stuff like that. That's when that comes down. During the week, they're shorter practices, and they're working on specific individual plays against other teams. You're not trying to improve yourself during the regular season. So I did notice that there was a lot of opportunities where he was looking downfield a lot and taking chances downfield when your check down was wide open, guaranteed to get a first down, right?
Yeah.
I didn't like that. And a lot of those times, in my opinion, is not just on the quarterback. A lot of times that has to do with your quarterback coach telling you, you know what, go from A, and then your B should be the check down. And then your C should be the next guy. That's the situation that I look at. Whereas your check down, sometimes you just need to look over real quick and say, oh, okay, this guy's almost guaranteed 10 yards if I just give him the ball real quick, Yeah. Give it to him. I'm noticing he stuck too long on the deep routes as his first read. That is not, your deep route should not be your first read. Ever. Because then you're spending your entire time with the football in your hand, staring down a receiver going downfield. And you're not looking at the rest of the plays when the other, routes have already developed and are at their peak. You're still waiting on the go route to see whether or not it's going to be open or not. That's quarterback. That's your quarterback coach. That's the guy who's telling you when and where you should be going through with your reads and your checkdowns and stuff like that. So I'm not putting that on Carson because apparently that's what Carson did his whole career, right? That's what he was taught when he was in Philly. That's why I don't want Scott Milanovich on the team no more. Give me somebody else that is known for having a guy like, I don't want Jimmy G, but his quarterback coach. They use him. He knows how to go through those quick little, quick routes and get through the progressions on those a lot faster. Frank Reich could do a better job also in, calling plays where you don't have multiple deep routes all the time. Right? Because, again, that's forcing him to sit there and hold the ball and wait. I don't like that at all either. Another thing that I don't like, you talked about it with Carson, is he does play hero ball a lot, right? Mm-hmm. He waits until until he feels a defender grab him, right, before he does anything, before he tries to get rid of the football or take off. Someone has to grab him before he decides. He doesn't have happy feet, and he thinks that he's about to get hit every 5 seconds. He's holding the ball way too long and then takes off. I don't like that. Get rid of the football, dude. Just get rid of the football. Don't wait. You see someone open, hit that sucker. Doesn't matter if he's 5 yards in front of you or 15, 20, 30 yards down in front of you.
No, because, look at the guys that he's dumping it off to, whether it's JT or Nyheim Hines. These guys, anytime they touch the ball, a play that looks like it's only for 3 to 5 yards can always end up taking it to the house.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with the guys that we have. Well, you're Nyheim Hines and you're if Paris Campbell is still here next year, I don't know. But, if he is, you're Jonathan Taylor. We've seen him take a little screen pass against the Ravens and took it 72 yards to the house.
Yeah.
We got guys that could do that. Use it.
And definitely, not to mention that would be so beneficial to just the whole team because the offensive line is under so much stress trying to hold those blocks and stuff and maintain. Generally speaking, what do we say? 2.5 to 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Honestly, there was some of the times that I felt like Carson wasn't even acknowledging what the route was done on his first read until 4 seconds into the thing. You should do that play in and play out, and these guys are going to start giving up more sacks.
Absolutely. Guys, smash that like button, hit subscribe. If you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time I go live or upload a video. I am working on a bunch of different film rooms all at the same time. I'm just going through games, and I see a clip. I'm like, I got to bring that up. I record the clip, and I name it something and throw it into a group, and whenever one fills up with like 10-ish clips first, that's when it'll be dropped out, all right? So I got a lot that I'm working on. So make sure that you are subscribed and have that notification turned on, all notifications, so that you do not miss when that content comes out. Also, real quick shout out to DeQuell Jackson. He's snowed in right now. And I'm waiting on a text from him to let me know that the airlines are freed up and will be being able to get headed home so that we can record our next episode. But hopefully that'll happen soon. But where he's at, there's a lot of snow right now and he can't get out. So hope everything turns out well for DeQuell. All right. Another thing you talked about, the hero ball with the switching hands, the WTF plays.
Yes.
That's what I call them. The what the heck plays, right? That's a problem that I have. Now, you talk about, that's kind of Andrew Luckish. He did that too. He'd throw in the double, triple coverage or something like that. And you're like, what? He called them bonehead plays, right?
Yeah.
Well, Carson Wentz, to me, those are WTF plays. All right. What were you thinking, dude? All right. Sometimes it's just better to take a sack, rather than trying to make something happen. It's just, right. It's better. Especially if it's first or second down, you got another down to do it in, right?
That's the ones that killed me when we were in, early in the downs and stuff. And T.Y.'s, okay, I know it was a touchdown, okay, but that touchdown catch that T.Y. caught off of the carom from Doolin and them, that throw should have never. That was first down. That was on first down. You just had this great first down completion. Why put the team in that much jeopardy? Making that play. To your point, throw it away. Okay, don't even take the sack. Just throw it away. Okay, and let's next play. Let's try something a little different or whatever.
Absolutely.
Just don't risk it.
Absolutely. All right. So we talked about good and bad that we saw from him this year. What are some positives and negatives to keeping him as our starter this upcoming season? Shoot.
Okay. Consistency. We haven't had a quarterback, for a following year in like 4 or 5 years now. Okay. Could you imagine what this offense would be like with somebody calling the shots? It's the same guy year in and year out. Okay. Secondly, assets. If you get rid of Carson, you will lose more assets. Okay. We gave up we gave up a third and a first round draft pick. Okay. Now we sit there and we want to get another shiny object or whatever. That's going to cause more assets. You know, if you're looking for the Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, you're not going to get them for a third and a first. Okay. And then, not to mention, you know, you got the contract and how much more money is going to be put into that. You know, now that's when you start looking at, okay, now are we going to be able to resign Quentin Nelson? Are we going to be able to resign Chris Reed and Glowinski and some of these good pieces that, you know, the Colts would like to keep, you know, Mo Alley Cox or what have you, you know? To me, it's just give the guy time, let this 2-year process run its course. Okay. And then see where the chips fall. And not to mention that you're going to end up with, you know, if Carson has another bad year or whatever, you're going to end up with a higher draft pick. You're going to have a first round draft pick. You're going to have capital to be able to do something in the draft or via free agency.
Yeah, I'm going to get to mine real quick in just a moment. But before I do, if you enjoy good, nice canvas paintings like this here of my boy, my favorite defensive player on the team, or other signed objects that you would like for your man cave or something of that nature, make sure you go check out the Backroom Collection. The link is in the description, and don't forget to use my discount code. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted, and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. I mean, overall, Carson Wentz had a pretty decent year. He had some mistakes. He made some mistakes. It happens. But if you go look at, you know, the numbers, he's top 15 in almost every important statistical category there is, right? And I've always been of the mindset you need a top 15 quarterback. You don't need a top 5. If you've got a good roster, a top 15 quarterback is what you need, right? Keeping him, the positives of keeping him would be, like you said, consistency, having another guy there. But on top of that, he didn't have I talked about this earlier. He didn't have an off season last year to sit down and work on timing with running backs and stuff. He had a 3-day vacation out in California or something with like Doolin and Pittman or something like that. No, Patman. Sorry. I think Paris was there too. I'm not 100%. But
I know Patman and Pittman worked together, so I know both of them were with him in Texas.
I think Hines was there.
Okay.
I think Hines was there too. But he needs a full offseason. He needs the OTAs and you know, the training camp and stuff like that to get those timings down and to better himself, right? Plus consistency, right? You start to know your offensive line. You get to understand the play calling a little bit better. You got the offseason where you're just sitting there talking with your head coach all the time, going over what you like, what you don't like, talking with your running backs, how you hand the football off. What are they going to do after they realize, hey, there's no one here to block on a blitz, and they take off for a route? You know, how do they run that route, right? That's going to help a lot in completion percentage. And being able to hit them in a spot where they can get yak yards. The Colts were one of the worst teams in the NFL on yak yards last year. Why? Because Carson didn't have any of that time in the preseason and training camp in order to work on that timing to hit those yak yard type situations. He's going to have that this year if the Colts stick with him.
That'd go a long way to get that 62% completions up in the more serviceable 68 to 70 range.
62% completion is not bad.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
Andrew Luck literally only hit 62 completions 3 times out of his 8 years that he was with the Colts. 3 times he's done it. You know, 62 is not horrible. That's actually good. 65 plus, that's elite percentages, right? Those are your elite numbers. We talked about the 27-7, the touchdown interception ratio, which is good. Yes, people want to point out, well, how many interceptions were dropped? You can say that about all the quarterbacks in the NFL. Go look at all of them. I will show you a minimum of 10 picks that were dropped by every quarterback in the NFL this past season who played at least 15 games. I'm just saying. But, he does have a lot he needs to work on. And I think an offseason would help him out a ton. Again, like you talk about, keeping him, not worrying about it, allows you to keep some assets, right? You're not going out and getting somebody else using trade capital. You're not pumping more money into the quarterback position. You're able to use that in other places, like you talked about, maybe get him a weapon or something, maybe help out with the left tackle, because I don't think anybody in the entire Colts nation wants Eric Fisher being the starter. I don't know who's going to be out there available to replace him, but, you know, it is what it is. But, hey, 0194D says, Lawrence eats, sleeps, and breathes Colts to be able to pull that luck stat out of memory. I look at a lot of stats through my life, okay?
Yes.
I do. I'm not kidding. Sometimes I'm off by 1 or 2, you know, but I'm always generally really close. But here's the thing, okay? The negative to that is you're going to be wondering, what if he crashes, right? Then you're stuck wondering what could have been, right? The thing is, I have 150% faith in that Chris Ballard will be looking at all avenues. Even if his mind is made up, you know what, we're going to stick with Carson Wentz, he's still going to make calls. Just like last year, you know, checked on Derek Carr, checked on Russell Wilson, checked on Matt Stafford, you know, checked on everybody. Carson Wentz is the direction they went because he felt at the time it was the best for the team, right? And that's exactly what he said. This year, I'm sure he's going to be, you know, calling up Seattle and being like, what you want for Russell? Okay, that's a little out of our league. All right, thank you. Click. Hey, I hear that a certain Aaron Rodgers might be wanting that. Oh, yeah, we don't have that. No, okay, click. All right, so, and I don't want Jimmy G. I do not want Jimmy. Mm-hmm. If you follow me and know me,
we may no longer be called Cold Slaw if we get Jimmy G.
Oh, that ain't no lie. I do not want Jimmy Garoppolo as a Colts. No. Okay, you want to be a backup, that's fine. Okay, but this man cannot throw the football past 15 yards. And I have stated that for 3 years now, ever since they went to the Super Bowl, you know, and he overthrew his tight end by 20 freaking yards on a play that if he'd have hit him, they probably would have won the Super Bowl. And ever since then, it's just, it's a fact. He has zero accuracy past 15 yards. And inside 15 yards, he's the perfect quarterback almost. But outside 15 yards, I'm sorry. I need a quarterback that if things aren't going the way it's going and you need to pick up a chunk play occasionally, I need a quarterback that can do that. And I have zero faith in Jimmy Garoppolo. Carson Wentz has shown he can do that. You know, that play to T.Y. Hilton earlier in the year was just freaking dynamic. It was absolutely beautiful. That bomb to Paris Campbell where he hurt his foot was freaking beautiful. You know, he's shown that he could hit really deep, beautiful balls. Decision making's a little bit iffy on some things, but it is what it is. Skylar and Kirsten talks about Deshaun Watson. What about Deshaun Watson? There's no way. I said this earlier. There is no way the Colts would get Deshaun Watson. The Colts could look at Houston and be like, I'll give you our next 5 first-round picks plus Carson Wentz. And they would look at us and go, ha, no. Okay? Yeah. And it is what it is. You know, that's like back in the day if Andrew Luck wanted out, you know, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, you know, 3 years ago was like, we'll give you 5 first-round picks for Andrew Luck. The Colts would tell him to go kiss a door. No, they would not do that because they're divisional rivals, and you just don't give your best player in the last unknown how long. I'll even say that I think Deshaun Watson is higher on the list than J.J. Watt and Hopkins as the best player that the Texans have ever had on the field. And the reason I'm not saying by position, I'm saying just overall talent likewise. Like, he's the most important high talent player that they've ever had.
Okay.
Right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because if you're measuring, I mean, J.J. Watt was a bad
J.J.
man.
Watt
Is
was a bad
man.
Yeah, bad man. Hopkins, bad man. But importance of position plus talent, Deshaun Watson's a bad man. So there's no way in God's green earth that the Texans would give him over to the Colts.
I have two questions for you, and one was, okay, the one quarterback that I do see the Colts really digging deep into was the same guy I thought last year, Derek Carr. You know what I mean? I'm most intrigued by that possibility. You know what I mean? And not to mention, let some of these other pieces, find their places, or does Derek Carr just, is he entrenched with the Davis family and the Raiders now with all their regime being changed out and stuff? And then my second question was, I guess, what did you make of the comments or lack of comments that was made after, the closing out with the coach and Ballard?
What do you mean the lack of comments with?
Well, the lack of support of Carson Wentz. The stuff that the national media has got a hold of and going, I told you so, I told you so.
Okay. So first and foremost with Derek Carr, I think Derek Carr's not going anywhere. Okay. He's a selling point for whoever's going to be the GM and head coach because Carr put that team on his shoulders and took them to the playoffs. And
that's what I'd love to see from Carson. Yeah. Right there. Give me that.
Exactly. As for the lack of, plus and minus support from Frank Reich, Ballard said it best. He was still dealing with poison from that final game, and he was not going to talk about certain things like Carson Wentz and what was going to happen and make any decisions until that poison was out of his system, because just like us, they were still really pissed off over that game. I mean, and it wasn't just them. I'm going to tell you, the players were pissed off. Carson was pissed off. Quentin Nelson, Darius Leonard, everybody was pissed off over that game. And I think it was more of I'll answer your questions. I'll let you know how I'm feeling. But he also said, like Chris Ballard, he said, look, Carson did a lot of good things too. There's a lot of things he needs to work on. We need to get better at. But he did a lot of good things too. People skimmed over that. All right.
Yeah. And see, that was for me. I felt like this was one of those where, Ballard was just being honest, letting everybody know. He's not oblivious to how bad this situation is. He's not oblivious to how bad it sucks that we lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what I mean? But I do agree that there was nothing there that said, Carson Wentz, you're done. But yet everybody I've been listening to, because just behind the curtain type of thing, I asked Lawrence in the morning, hey, what do we want to talk about? And he's told me, and then I started, because I avoid a lot of the national stuff, because quite honestly, I just feel like it's half truths, you know what I mean? Or, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? It's pushing a message that's already been created by some other people. For me, I just felt like Ballard was just like, I'm pissed. This is, Carson, you got to, think about it over the next week or two. Listen to some of the stuff that's being said. But as long as Carson hasn't lost the locker room, as long as this team is, supporting Carson and believes in Carson, I can't see why, to your point, that, I mean, some of the losses that Carson's getting blamed, I don't blame week 18 on Carson. I mean, I blame that as a team. That, offensive line was, not what he is expected. You sit there and you look at weeks 1 through 4. Carson Wentz was doing a lot of that stuff in those first 4 weeks. He was just keeping us in the games. I mean, honestly, the product that we put on the field in the first 4 weeks was not what, the
he seemed to play better with a really shitty ass offensive line and a run game that wasn't going nowhere. You know, he seemed to be playing better those first 4 weeks when the offensive line, we had turnstiles here, and here on the offensive line, and Jonathan Taylor couldn't get anything going. I think the most yardage he had in those games was 62, 63, something like that, somewhere in that general vicinity. And, you know, he was getting 12 to 15 carries a game, you know, and he was playing better. Completion percentage was up there, yardage was up there, you know, all that. It's just the team itself wasn't a whole yet, you know. And then the offensive line got better, healthy. Jonathan Taylor was able to break out and get some yardage. And then Frank Reich's philosophy utterly just flipped right mid-season, right? And that's what happened. You know,
and there was so much growth in this year for us. I mean, you know, we sat there and we talked about, you know, to your point, Coach. I mean, I've said it before. Coach, I felt like he knew how to deal with having a good running back. I don't know that he knew how to run an offense. He knew how, but I just don't think he was accustomed to running an offense with such a dynamic running back. Okay, you know, you sit there and you take your mentality of 60-40, and that really gets skewed whenever JT's out there doing all this spectacular, you know, 100 plus, 200 plus, and all that.
He was averaging 8+ yards a carry for 5 straight games.
Yeah,
you know,
college numbers. Yeah, that's college numbers, high school numbers and stuff.
Right.
But and to that point, Flus. I felt like Flus really turned. You know, after about week 8, week 9, you started seeing the defense, and I enjoyed watching that defense. I couldn't stand. You know what I mean? I love the defense that held the Ravens scoreless or really, you know, held them in contained for the first 3 quarters. I like that type of
it. I can't put the end of that game of the Ravens on Flus, though, because how much they were out there on the field. They were dead tired.
Mm-hmm.
And they had no one to replace anybody because, you know, like we talk about all the injuries in the secondary. So I can't really put how the fourth quarter and overtime went on that game on Flus.
You know, and then you know, back to that national media thing. The thing that drives me nuts is I keep hearing, well, Phillips Rivers led this team to a playoff. Okay, first off, even if the Colts were the exact same minus Phillip Rivers, we played much higher level competition on the defensive side. We faced Aaron Donald. We faced the Jaguars, which, if you ask me, defensively, night and day from what they were the year before.
I mean, they held that dynamic Bills offense to 6 points.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. And then the Texans, I mean, the Titans. The Titans, just their defense, just for me, that was the biggest improvement in the league was what the Titans did on defense. Yeah.
Definitely.
I hate that comparison of, well, Phillips led this team to a playoffs. I'm like, no. You know, different circumstances, different competition.
We'll talk about Eberflus on another stream because that's a whole nother bag of onions that we need to open and peel. But with Carson Wentz, who's going to be the quarterback next year? I don't see a legitimate contender for him. I want to shout out real quick to somebody in here, Tyler Hale. What's up? He says, thoughts on the For the Culture podcast. It always seems negative, but I like the takes they have. I haven't listened to For the Culture in the last 2 years. And it's mainly because of the negativity that they've been pushing out. And a few other things, but I generally don't listen to For the Culture too much. But appreciate the question and all. Guys, if you have any thought process or whatnot, Seth Jenkins in here says, I'm late, but give me Derek Carr. I'd take Derek Carr in a heartbeat, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be available. Smash that like button, hit subscribe. You're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. Thank you to the 50 people that are in here right now. Don't forget, check out, I got all sorts of stuff that you can go check out in the description if you want to support. I have my Patreon. It's only $5 a month, $5 a month. And we do a Patreon-only stream every Thursday where, you know, if you have a video and a video camera and a headset or a microphone, you can join in and talk, you know, give your thoughts and stuff like that. And then plus I have a other Patreon specific videos that I post up there as well. It's only $5 a month. It's not too much at all. And it's the same for everybody. There's no tiers. Everybody gets the same amount. I know that some of you might be like, "Oh, I'll give you $50 if I could have this extra." No, for right now, it's $5. All right. Don't forget, I also have my merch shop, which my boys wear in all sorts of merch shop of mine. Here's where you go check it out. Make sure to check out the Colts Law merch shop. The link is in the description of this video. There are a ton of high quality, reasonably priced items there that you can choose from. And all you got to do is just click one button and you can go and check out all these great merchandise items. Seth Jenkins in here drops a super chat off of YouTube, $1.99. Appreciate you. Says came in late, but appreciate you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for being in here. Frank McMahon drops a how about this trade? Carson Wentz, 2023 and 2024 first round, and then a 2022 third round for Russell Wilson and a 2022 fourth. What do you think?
I don't like it. Like I said, I'm a firm believer in Carson Wentz needs this next year. I'm also a believer that this team has some other holes that I feel like you put assets into those, fill in those holes and stuff, and give this thing another year to play its course. As long as the organization's strong with Carson, you know what I mean? If there's some behind the scenes stuff, I mean, I'm not privy to that information. So I but I'm not sitting there saying that this will be a Super Bowl team next year. But I'm not convinced that Carson Wentz can't take us as far as we need to go. You know what I mean? I'm not convinced that these are things that he can't, through a year of just getting it together, and having a full year of just consistent support and coaching and stuff, that these are things that can be solved.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it going, that's 3 first-round picks for a quarterback. Because, I mean, we already gave one up for Carson Wentz, and you're asking to give up 3 or 2 more for Russell Wilson plus Carson Wentz. So that's legitimately a lot of picks, right, that the Colts
Not to mention how much more money that Russell is going to be making over
$37 million a year for Russell Wilson. $37 million. Indy has got the majority of their salary cap hit. I mean, we're going to have a salary cap thing, and people's going to look at it, well, they got $56 million or whatever. Not really. Not really.
They got 56. Don't forget, they got it fixed.
They got a lot of positions that they have to fill, and big time positions that they have to fill. It's going to cost some money as well. So we don't have as much money as what a lot of people think. It looks like it on the surface, but there's a lot of positions to fill. We only have 28 spots currently on our roster for next year that's on the roster this year. And we got to come up with a 90-man roster. 53 total for the start the season. Plus, like you said, a number 56 that needs extended. We're going to have to sign a left tackle. That's going to take a chunk of change. Probably need to sign another wide receiver, which is going to take a chunk of change. Do we need another cornerback? At least for depth, maybe, and that's going to take a little bit of chunk. All the places that we need is going to take a lot of money. And what would help with that is if we had first-round picks. And if you make the trade, not only are you taking away a whole bunch of money, but you're also giving away our picks to help deal with that money. Because you could use those picks to get the players rather than pay for them in free agency.
And is Russell willing to sacrifice the receiving that he's experienced most of his career, in replace for an offensive line? As a Colts fan, I would say, that's, I would, because I like our receiver. But to sit there and say that he looks at the Colts receiving core and says, these are guys that, no, I could see Russell coming out and still feeling like he's got to play hero ball and buy into more of that national media. The Colts don't have any receivers other than Michael Pittman Jr. Is Russell Wilson going to want to move into that type of situation? I would say probably not.
Joe Thornburg in here from my Patreon says the Wilson thing will never happen. Toxic says the defense did not pull any turnovers out of Jacksonville. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't just the whole team. The whole team took a dump right there in the middle of the field in Jacksonville. I mean, they did. It is. But
they're still cleaning it up.
Oh, good Lord, it is. It's bad. Look, I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Jake says, by the way, on Wentz season, I just changed my name. Cool. Appreciate you. She said, oh, crap, I was eating and missed it. I'll have to go back and watch later. It's all good. Thank you. So Carson Wentz, we're sitting at 50. We're getting close to the end because I have to join Derek Larger. I think we're recording, going live. I'm not 100% sure. He reached out to me yesterday, asked me, and I said, well, I'm going live until 7. So we'll have to be ending this here pretty soon. But I appreciate everybody in here and dropping all the chat. The chat's just been moving like crazy. Nomadic Brian, I would do anything in the world for Allen Robinson. I would move mountains to get Allen Robinson on this team. Okay? Now, not everybody feels that way. There's a lot of people who don't think Allen Robinson brings too much baggage. I don't think so. He just wants he wants to be treated fairly. You know, that's what I see from Allen Robinson. And Chicago was never trying to treat him fairly. They was never trying to give him a quarterback that was going to use him to his best ability. Trubisky wasn't going to be able to do it, and then they went up and they got that quarter. They moved up, got that quarterback. He ain't going to be able to use Allen Robinson to the best of his ability. Someone that would, believe it or not, I think Carson Wentz would. Allen Robinson and Michael Pittman Jr. on opposite sides would be a nasty combo for Carson Wentz. Oh, my goodness.
Won't be able to do that if we sit there and replace Carson.
Right.
And to your point, I'm not saying I want a circus like the whole AB situation.
Yeah.
But I'm fine. Give me a couple of the guys, that can just really ball out. And if they got a little extra attitude or a little extra baggage or whatever, okay, this locker room I feel like is strong enough and has reached that level of maturity that if they can't handle a prima donna receiver or a hard-nosed tough guy, getting in their face, then you know what? You guys got bigger problems because this league has got. I feel like that's what this team is missing. They're just missing that dude that's, like I said, is just able to ball out at any conditions that you can rely on. And DeAndre Hopkins, Robinson, and if there's a little extra, that you have to deal with, I think this locker room should be ready to handle that with your DeForest and your Maniac and your Quentin Nelson and your JT, who's now established. I feel like this team's got enough pieces, enough foundation that they should be able to handle that type of extra stuff.
Brandon Wood says, you heard it here first. Loyalists don't want dudes. He wants guys. Dudes are the upper echelon over guys. We've had this discussion.
Didn't say guys. I know, but I didn't say guys. I even put the in there. Yeah, I want the guy.
The guy.
That makes it the difference.
The guy is higher than dude, okay? Yeah. That's like Aaron Rodgers
is the guy.
The guy, okay?
Yeah.
Because he's most likely going to be 2-time back-to-back MVP of the NFL. That makes you the guy. Tom Brady, the guy, right? Peyton Manning was the guy, and then you run around and you look at other people. You want to figure it out yourself and figure out the difference between guys, dudes, the guy. Go to our Discord, all right? Because we have a great Discord, and a lot of us join together and talk a lot of smack, actually. But we talk a lot of Colts football. We talk a lot about it NFL. We watch sports, hang out, do all sorts of stuff. Let me drop the link to my Discord in the chat as soon as I can figure it out how to do it. Tell people a little bit about our Discord while I open up a window and drop this in there.
All righty, guys. I'll tell you right now, come and check out the Discord. We watch
A little bit about our Discord while
sports. We talk about the sports, and whether it's football, whether it's hockey, whether it's and it's not always just sports that we get into. I mean, we had a time where we sat there and we watched Godzilla and King Kong, and I mean, so there is a nice eclectic group of fellows. We've got 19, 20-year-old guys that are really educated and open-minded, and then you turn around, you got old people like me and Lawrence over here, and we sit there and we have a good time. Joe Mama and Brandon Wood, these guys are in there on a regular basis, and like I said, we have a good conversation and it's a good time.
Tommy says convert Hines to slot receiver. That's actually a really good idea, and we will talk about that later on when we talk about free agency and things of that nature. We're definitely going to have one of those once the postseason is over with. We're going to dive into a whole bunch of stuff. But it's at that time, guys. The link is in the description, by the way, for my Discord. Appreciate each and every one of you. Mike N, thank you so much for joining. Again, another guy who hangs out, spends a lot of time with us. Appreciate you being in here. Brandon,
he is a dude, by the way.
Yeah. Mike N, okay.
Yeah.
Brandon Wood, also another one. We got a lot of people in here that are not only Patreon supporters, but are in our Discord. So thank you so much. But we're closing in on that hour. Please smash that like button, as Mike N says. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. And is there any final words, Loyalist, before we end this and I have to prepare to go on, bring the juice?
No, like I said, guys, remember how we felt about Rock. If we can put that much faith and belief into Carson, we'll see where this thing goes. And, I mean, if Carson can take a jump that Rock took from last year to this year, I think the Colts will be in ideal shape.
Absolutely. Ninkowski's another one of those guys. Appreciate you. He is a dude in my eyes. Even though we don't see eye to eye all the time, he's still a dude. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.
What are you wearing?